Hi. And we're live. Kia ora and welcome to Fate of Isen Book Rua. We are a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition podcast made by a bunch of Kiwi comedians, proud members of Kiwi RPG, Kiamu Whakatau o Aotearoa, tabletop role-playing from New Zealand. We korero paki, we tell some jokes, and hopefully save the world and have a whole lot of fun along the way. If you are joining us for your first time visiting Isen, this is a strange one to come into, honestly. But respect to you for visiting us. I'm really happy that you're here. Good. It's good.
I promise.
But this is a little bit of a side story. We are not visiting our Sidebars. Who we are indeed visiting is other characters elsewhere in the world. So I'm very, very excited to explore this with you today. But if you are coming home again to watch us one more time, then maybe you'll be excited by the fact that you're not seeing the Sidebars. I don't know. And we also have a new friend today with us, so that's exciting too. Welcome home, Fadies. I wish I got to see more of you in Auckland, but I met those of you I could. And I'm really, really stoked to be here with my friends yet again. Telling this cool little side story. So I'm going to throw it over to my players to introduce themselves. I'm going to let the two that have been here forever go first, and they can fight it out to the death, I guess, to see who goes first, or usual order.
Paper, scissors, rock.
Okay,
and then audibly.
Do we shoot on three? Directly into the mic.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Wait, you froze.
I'll count it. It's audio.
It was too rough. Okay.
2,
Okay.
1.
Okay, you go first.
Wait, what?
Hey, nice stinker. Kia ora, everybody. How we doing? My name is Severin. I usually play the human monk Dexter Clementine. He's a bit of a monkey boy, a bit of a punchy boy. But I'm playing a different character. Oh, it's highly unorthodox. I'm playing a character called Bren Dovetail. And we'll find out more about him as our story unfolds. Over to you, Erika.
Okay, I'm Erika, and I normally play Tyrone Grimm on the podcast, and today I'll be playing Man Brynhook Dalla. Now, some people are made to make character voices. I don't think I'm one of those people, so please don't confuse Tyrone and Man as much as you can. Amazing. Now, over to our brand new friend here, Sandy.
Kia ora, everyone. I am Sandy. I'm not a face that you would recognize. I am brand new. I will be playing the lovely Constable Eric Vale, and we'll find out a little about him today.
Amy's like, I have no links for Sandy, and I'm like,
I do not have anything Amy. For you to advertise.
That is okay.
He is a rogue agent.
Rogue agent.
So today we have a special little 2-session one-shot style play where we're exploring another part of Isen. So we'll be doing that this week, and we'll be doing that again in 2 weeks. So this is a 2-parter, and so you'll have to stay tuned for the finale. I will already tell you that. Standard stuff for a podcast. We're not going to finish the story today, but we will finish it in 2 weeks' time. So let's set our scene. The fishing town of Bright Cove isn't exactly known for its nightlife, but last night the tavern was packed wall to wall with eager faces, all drawn in by the sudden appearance of the hottest rock band in Isen right now. Why Caaaaaaaves was wishing their small town was, just a mystery, absolute mystery as to why they're in Bright Cove, but it was the most exciting thing to happen in ages to Bright Cove, so basically everyone was there. Destiny sits in the back of the show, arms crossed, her denim jacket still bristling with pins. She knows this band, like really knows them, and their last few shows had ended in what could be called chaos. Whispers, disappearances, absolute chaos. But here, well, the crowd danced, and they smiled, and they just sang along. And no one seemed scared, and no one clawed at their ears, or walked off with that now very familiar look of someone sleepwalking. It made no sense. So the show just ended, and Destiny went to bed, but she didn't really sleep. She watched out the window, and she waited. But nothing happened. And now at breakfast in the same tavern, the warmth of the morning sun feels a little too clean, too bright. And a bartender murmurs over a cracked coffee pot. 3 folks disappeared overnight, all locals. No trace of where or nothing missing. They're just gone. Destiny stiffens. Destiny? She does not sniffen, she stiffens.
That's salt air.
Almost pleased that she wasn't wrong, but still disappointed that something is happening again. Whatever grip the band had tightened last night, it's still holding. She pulls her hood up, slides in beside one of the locals sitting at the bench listening to the bartender say this, and says to him in a low voice, "You saw the show last night, right? Something's wrong, I think they're feeding again."
I don't know. It's not quite my crowd. Whatever was going on was a little bit odd. But you say it was odd. Tell me about it. What is it usually like around here?
Well, the shows are always odd. People, some people just enjoy the show, sure, but some people just kind of walk off all weird and stiff, and some people claw at their ears, usually it's painful, and some people are so frightened that they just kind of curl up in a ball and wait for it all to be over. But none of that happened last night, It's odd.
I feel like that should be the standard, not clawing at your ears, but maybe that's my sensibilities getting in the way. And perhaps I can ask a couple more people around here what their experiences were.
Look like you sort of, be in charge or something here, aren't you? Sorry, my name is I'm Destiny. I'm originally from Lakeside, but you are?
I'm the constable here. Eric Vale is the name, and yes, I've been here for quite some years. Though this tavern in particular, I tend to stay away from just because of all the noise it creates. Though I found myself trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, the people missing. So you're the constable. You must be investigating already, right? Right. Of course, yeah, this makes sense. Oh, this makes me feel better. You're already on the case, right?
Keep your voice down. Not everyone needs to know. And Constable Eric will just kind of shuffle his chair a little bit closer.
She shuffles in, closer and puts her head down.
Yes, there are people going missing, but we do not want to start a panic. Do you hear me? We do not want to be raising suspicion for everyone here.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. And she looks around suspiciously at all of the people in the tavern. Does she see anybody else particularly looking at her or doing anything in particular? I'm throwing it over to our other 2 players to explain where they might be or what they might be doing.
She would probably see a slightly taller than average dwarven woman. Older, sort of brown hair that's slowly starting to fade to white, and a messy bun with straggly bits of hair sort of flying away, just sort of looking at the 2 of them talking, sipping her morning coffee. I guess it's morning still. So yeah, morning coffee.
Yeah.
But staring at the 2 of them.
Yeah, and Destiny avoids her, tries to avoid her eyes, very suspiciously.
How close would I be roughly? Are you guys in a booth or at a table or?
I think probably near the bar somewhere, mainly because the bartender was sort of directing his comments towards the constable and he was behind the bar, so somewhere near the bar.
Okay, so probably at the other end. Pretty good hearing, I would probably say, so she would sort of slide over and say, "You, girl. You were talking..." "Yes, you. The one talking about the band."
And I look at the constable and I'm like, oh, like that? I wasn't supposed to do that. Okay,
That was specifically what I wanted to avoid in this situation.
Yeah,
but I guess the more the merrier.
I see your point now. Yes, the band. Should we be talking here so loudly then? She sort of shrinks a bit.
Let's find a booth Sorry. I'm Eric. What is your name? Looking over to our new guest.
Boy, you know me. I've been living here in this town for a good number of years. Why would you assume that constables these days, they don't get involved with the community.
And Destiny's like, yes, but I don't know your name, so maybe you could tell me.
My name is Marin. I've been living in this parts for a long time, but this is the first time I've ever seen that band come through. They were quite talented, I have to say, but too noisy for my old ears. I don't know how you young people can listen to it.
So you didn't feel overtaken by some strange urge to do something or claw your own eyes out?
No. I just wanted to leave the tavern, but the drinks were flowing quite nicely last night.
Right. Destiny looks very confused by this.
I'll admit I stayed for a couple of whiskeys.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Maybe Booth. And she looks around the tavern again. Does she see another friend? Anyway.
I'll say, as you're looking around for an empty booth where there may be several at this early hour, you hear the tavern door kind of open gingerly. What you can see is being propped open by an elbow. And somebody that you all probably know if you've been around town for quite a bit, you see Bryn Dovetail, one of the kind of more eccentric characters in the village, who kind of floats around. You've maybe only said one or two words to each other. He's holding a small wooden box up to his ear and a kind of screwdriver. It's like, that's not the sound it should be making. And the spring just shoots out. Oh, that's not what should happen. Hello. This looks like an odd meeting of different people from around the town. I don't normally see you together. What's happening?
Yeah, because Destiny's stood up and the other two have stood up, so they're all kind of awkwardly standing together, looking for like a booth. And it's like, she's like, oh, hello, I'm not from around here. What is that? Like instantly intrigued by what you have in your hands.
I could swear I've seen you before. Maybe you've got a doppelganger, a dead ringer. Hello, I'm Bran.
Hi, Destiny.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah, my parents had a sixth sense of humor. So what is that?
This was... He kind of inspects it a little bit grumpily. I'm trying to create some kind of musical small device. It plays music, but it's hard to get music, which is very big, into a box that is very small. And there's my current conundrum, and also springs keep springing.
And
Cool.
yet you were always very loud.
Constable?
Bran.
So you were at the concert last night too?
If we're talking about loud sounds, I feel like everyone could hear the concert. It's not a big town. I try to steer clear of crowds. They kind of give me anxiety. But I heard the concert. It was very good. A lot of vibrations.
And you didn't feel the need to rush off on some insane quest to do something for people that might get you killed?
Oh, no more than usual.
Okay. I think you should join us.
Terrific idea. I'll grab some tea.
How does he have to? And you just see the constable, like, leaning back into the seat, just putting his hand on his face at this moment,
Yeah.
looking over to Bren.
Yeah, so she shuffles, like, him into the booth as well. And sort of just, like, you know, once you guys are all comfortably sorted, sort of waves at the bartender and just does the all-round symbol, you know, and then, yeah, looks back at you all.
Let's turn to the constable. There. It looks like she's getting us a drink, so sit for a little bit. You can survive Bryn. He's a colourful character in our town, but he's got a heart. A good heart of...
Thank you. I do have a heart.
Survive is the key term here. Just survive.
You hit one fence post with some shrapnel and suddenly survival's on the people's minds.
There was clear up for weeks, and you didn't help.
I have very delicate fingers. I can't lift things. I told you this. It's my condition.
Destiny just looks on delighted, as you clearly are, and her terms getting along famously. Like, yeah.
Just like two people like scowling at each other like, best friend!
Best friend.
Man's just there
Hashtag
drinking
gold.
the drink, watching
Yep.
as well.
Inside her head, she's thinking, this is already going better than I'd planned. And she's like, so, you mentioned you've never seen caves before.
Not in this town.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I have been following them not quite always following them, but basically following them since they were tiny and they were just playing in, little taverns with nobody listening to them and mostly throwing tomatoes, And, well, they're huge now, aren't they? They're huge. And she looks at you all for confirmation.
Oh, yes. Massive, big music people.
Isn't that good for bands, for the young people these days? They want to be seen, to be heard.
Yes, but the small thing with the tomatoes, well, that wasn't actually that long ago. It was basically a few months ago. I've never really heard of it happening this fast before. Also, there's the strange things that follow them. I mean, not just me.
Insight check.
Sure, roll it up. First roll of the game, insight check.
It's sheer strange thing.
NPC.
It is a 9. Plus 4 is a 13.
She seems pretty genuine. Like, you look at her jacket, which is absolutely covered in pins, and you can see other music, like, troops that you've seen come through town. Like, definitely nothing as big as what that was. But she seems to be a fan of, like, little indie, various bard troops and things like that. And she has got a Caves badge on. Not Caves. Caves badge on. It's said with the question mark. You've got to say it like that.
Yes, something that we named, and I think it was other Julz. They kind of said that quizzically, as in, like, should we call the band this? And like, nope, we're just going with...
That's what it is now. So, she seems pretty genuine about the fact that she's been following these guys for a while, and that she seems also, you can see when you look at her a bit closer, that there's bags under her eyes, and her, she sort of looks kind of, like, strained and tired. Like, something is, sort of keeping her up at night or giving her a bit of a hard time at the moment. Yeah.
I'll say Bryn's got one of those, not quite kind of half monocle, half binocular, and it's just kind of like leaning it, like what a jeweler kind of has, just leaning in it. You look like something's weighing on your soul, new friend.
Well, yeah, the band is, and I think what they're doing. Only I can't figure it out or prove it or stop it. I thought maybe it had stopped, honestly, last night when nothing happened, and then, well, he's investigating people missing, so I'm pretty sure it hasn't stopped happening.
People missing? Where was the last place I saw these people? Usually I retrace my steps, I think, like, where would I put something? Where's the logical place? Where's the logical place that these people could be?
She turns to Sandy and, like, how far through your investigations are you, Sandy? Or have people just literally walked up and told you people are missing?
Most people will say that people are missing. I think this is not the first place that I started. I might have tried to talk to any other people of renown within the town, trying to rely on my normal resources. Going to the tavern is something that I've been holding back on doing.
Yeah. And
so having to go into the tavern is like, okay, I'm getting nothing, I'm getting nowhere. I was starting to get something from the bartender, and then all of this has occurred.
Yeah, cool. So pretty much all you've heard so far from various people is that everybody came home, from the band gig. They seemed pretty amped, pretty happy, big fans of the music that they heard. Like, they really enjoyed it. They went to bed, and when people went to, like, check on them in the morning, they weren't there. But all of their stuff is. So it's like, it's not like they just kind of, like, packed a bag and went on a walk or whatever. They seem to have left everything behind. Which is, I guess, why people have mentioned it in the first place. Because it's only a few hours old, but it's odd. So they're just like, hey, have you seen my mate? Like, they're still walking around going, have you seen my mate? Is it they just, went out to go to the toilet outside and got lost or something, or fell over? And, like, we're kind of still in that stage of the investigation. So you can still, like, there's people kind of filtering into this tavern, sitting down and having, like, early breakfast and, getting ready for their days and things like that. So you could, like, ask around here, or you can go ask at people's houses, or you can pretty much do whatever you like at this point if you wanted to investigate further, but that's sort of where you're at.
Pulling from my side, I've got the ledger that I've been taking all my notes from. Just putting that in front of me whilst everyone's talking, and now that the focus is back on me, I'm just going to turn through my ledger. Would I be able to do a history check just to see if I've been able to connect any dots between all the individuals that have already gone missing?
Yeah, 100%.
I must have spilt something on the ledger as I'm rolling to it with a natural 1.
Oh no.
I bring it out onto the table, and it's too heavy, and just one of the drinks that have just come by spill onto the book, and I just go, this is why I hate taverns!
Is that a D6 of chaos?
Unfortunately, our constable, who the chat have decided is giving 2 weeks from retirement vibes,
Hand your gun in your badge, Eric.
feels a deep shiver of something like chaotic and kind of awful encroaching on his maybe shortly to be earned in retirement. And roll me. We're going to go, because this is proper chaos, we're going to go with our D6. Is it D6 or are we doing... No, we're doing D10 now.
Oh.
I like that you get the first roll of the new chaos chart.
Yeah.
Out of everyone.
It's
Welcome.
true.
For
Hello.
everyone who knows what's happening right now, I don't.
You gotta love it.
So,
Gotta love it.
Fantastic. Am I rolling a D10?
yeah,
then?
so roll a D10, because this cold kind of washes over you, and you hear a Southern Belle voice in your ear going, "Oh, honey, you're mine now."
Yep.
As you roll that D10, what'd you get?
I got a 2, and I do not like this.
You feel very hungry, incredibly hungry. You basically have disadvantage until you eat, until you are satisfied on all attack, skill checks, and saving throws. If we were in like initiative, eating would be an action. So, yeah, we're still out of initiative, so you have like the ability to just go ham. But you are so hungry right now. It's kind of
Good thing we're in a
overwhelming.
tavern.
Yeah.
Constable, are you okay? You've got a little bit of... Is that drool?
Don't mind me. I will... Okay, I'm going to grab myself a bite, and only me a bite. I am not paying for any of your meals. I will be right back. Oh my goodness. And the constable will stand up and just head towards the barkeep to see if they've got any bar snacks or any bar food whatsoever.
Well, I mean, they do have like porridge and oats and some bread and some, basic leftover stew, and they've got all of that kind of malarkey at the bar. Roll me a d4 to see how many minutes it takes you before you are sated with your hunger.
That is 3 minutes of
Okay, so
not
for
being
3
sated.
minutes, the bartender just keeps putting food in front of you, and you are it's like non-stop eating, like it's
It's a total
not
buffet.
pretty, it's not pretty, it's messy, it's crazy, and people are honestly looking at you a little oddly right now. Yeah.
You've got one of those Scooby-Doo sandwiches.
Yeah.
No, I said 11 sandwiches. I need 11 of them.
Yeah. So while that's happening, Destiny is like, "Ooh, wow, okay. That guy really was hungry." She goes, "Did you need any more backstory, or are you guys okay?"
Yeah, I feel like I don't know too much about you. You've come into town recently. People have been missing. You're concerned, as I imagine people would be concerned. And yep, you come in town for caves. How long are you staying in the town? Caves, have they moved on?
They usually do. It's kind of a weird thing. Like, they usually sneak out in the middle of the night, mainly because there's weird stuff going on, and I assume that they think it's going to be pinned back to them, probably because it would be pinned back to them. So they're usually gone. I bet you if you search the tavern where they are staying, they won't be there.
Oh.
I mean, we can try, though.
It's a good mystery. Band rolls into town. 3 people go missing. Band leaves for the town.
Do they
The
have a
constable
wagon?
is hungry. There's a lot happening. just bones and like spoons, forks being flung everywhere.
Yeah, she looks up kind of sadly, and she's like, yeah, it is kind of a mystery. I mean, I'm kind of glad, because I just thought that they just didn't like me anymore, and that's why they weren't coming out for, like, signings and, like, to hang out with the fans. They always used to hang out with the fans, like, sit with us and talk about songs and do things, and now they just kind of, like, come out and they play and then they run away, and I don't know, I thought that we were friends, and then we weren't, and then the weirdness started happening, and maybe I can save them. or something. I don't know. It's kind of silly and stupid probably, but like, I don't know. I can't leave it alone, you know?
I understand that. I had a granddaughter who went to college in Georgia, and I hear all the stories about the music that she's been doing there. So, can you say a little bit about what did their music change? Did they change the sound that they were singing?
Yeah.
The type of songs?
Yes. One of their songs almost killed me.
Like in a spiritual, like you were moved and like reborn through the music kind of way?
No, as in I woke up surrounded by animals that were trying to rip me to pieces in a forest that I didn't recognize, with like weird like stuff stuck in my ears, and yeah, that hadn't happened before from a concert, and yeah, it keeps kind of happening, but not like to me, or I'd probably be dead by now, but this weird like stuff I had in my ears, and she pulls out like these little, to your character Severin, who I've forgotten the name of right now. Bryn. This looks like a little tinker, kind of like a piece of magic sort of equipment. She's put like bits of metal kind of wrapped around bits of plant life, but you know, she's created like these weird earplugs that sort of are stuck into her ears.
Is she still holding them, or has she put them back?
She sort of holds them kind of out for you to sort of look at, and then she goes to put them back unless you stop her. Yeah.
Bryn's gonna mage hand to try to grab one gently out of one of her hands.
Oh yeah, I mean, fair enough. She's like, I've got a spare pair. I mean, they're sort of a spare pair. I sort of don't really know where I got the first ones from, but I've tried to like recreate them. You could have the prototype if you like.
It's an intricate design, a weaving of metal and like organic plant life. You don't know who created these?
Well, sort of don't. I woke up with sort of them, but I've tinkered until I made them better. Because that's kind of what I do. I like, you know.
This thing's a little bit tangled. And he gets this kind of screwdriver, and then one of the wires just sticks right up. It's like, I'm sorry. Back.
Yeah.
And very just gingerly mage-hand it back to her.
Yeah, so she kind of puts them back in. She's like, I've sort of gotten used to wearing them all the time because, I don't know, safety.
Very true. If music can have these effects.
They don't seem to be able to do the weirdness to me while I'm wearing them.
Another more geographical question. You know, sound reverberates around the town. I can't really see where it's going. Where did caves play in our fair seaside town?
Probably in like kind of an outdoor sort of area that it's attached to one of the taverns. It's like a big outdoor sort of audio bowl, like a New Plymouth music theatre shell. Yeah, with the water and everything. Sure, let's just make it like New Plymouth because it's cool there.
The Plymouth Bowl. That's acoustically kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think they would have left anything behind? Constable, did you have a look at the venue? If our friend Destiny here has linked this band to the potential disappearances?
Sure. Am I still gorging myself at this point?
Probably
or?
by this point you've like stopped and you know that something happened to you. Like you're very aware. Like it's not like you don't know that was weird, you know?
I hand you a napkin and just say, wipe yourself up, dear.
Thank you for that. And he just full head shame wipes his face. Clean-shaven individual having to just wipe away his chin and just folds it before putting it back on the table and joining the others. Let me see if I have anything in this now sodden ledger.
I'll hand you another napkin. I'm next to the napkin dispenser.
I might need a few, thank you. And I'm just going to pat dry the ledger a little bit and try and see if I've got anything on the bowl or any connection that I remember.
Yeah, so you have been there. You know that they played there. They literally got there that day, played, set up, you know, did the whole thing that day, played, and then packed down. And then the wagon marks from that seemed to just go straight out of town. It didn't really look like it stopped anywhere.
When the wagon marks went straight out of town, obviously this was a recent performance. Is it like they left this morning sort of wagon marks? And would it be a followable track
You can roll me like a survival or a nature or something of that kind to see if you can figure out how fresh.
I will do a quick survival check.
Cool.
Okay, that's a little bit better. 19 total.
Yeah, so it definitely doesn't look fresh. They look like they've got a bit of that overnight sort of frost kind of look at that settled into the ruts and stuff. The only reason you're probably seeing that so clearly is because it was quite muddy here, so it's sort of like dug in a bit as they travelled out of town. That and the cart's quite heavy, which would make sense because there was a lot of gear there last night. Yeah, so it looks like they literally just packed up and then left. Didn't even stick around in town.
With that 19 as well, because they've headed in that direction, obviously the tracks are quite old. Are there any fresh footprints heading in that direction as well, or is it, no, just majority of those tracks from their cart and then nothing else predominant?
No, nothing else predominant, but you could follow them if you wanted to see if that changes. But like where you are looking, or where you were looking in and around, because you're still in the tavern at the moment, didn't show any kind of anybody walking off in a different way or anything like that. You sort of investigated the immediate area around the stadium and just going out of town. You didn't go too much further. Fair enough. It has been an early morning for you, so you will, and everywhere you've gone, people have pestered you. Like, oh, Constable, there's people missing. Have you heard? Like, you haven't heard. Yeah. It's, again...
I don't know what you're talking about. And I just immediately try to leave frame.
Yeah.
I'll bring that up to the others of that. Look, as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any tracks leading town. The only predominant tracks that have been, now frosted over, were from the band themselves. They must have left quite early after the performance.
And you're saying they usually stick around, talk to the fans, do a little bit of a schmooze. The mystery grows more mysterious.
We could go and see if they left anything behind. If I know anything from living in this town, is people often leave things in the tavern. They'll forget things on leaving. If these guys were in such a rush to leave, maybe they'll drop something.
It also might be worth talking to anyone they interacted with, see what kind of headspace, caves were in. Were they scared of anything? Were they a little bit frightful?
With that, Constable might just stand up for a second and maybe takes a few steps towards the barkeep. You don't have a lost and found or, keeping anything for anyone that's lost anything recently, have you?
Yeah, I mean, sure, that box over there. I'm warning you, though, I don't check it. So whatever's in there has possibly been in there a long time.
Duly noted. And the constable just holds his stomach, maybe clogging his nose for a little bit just in case there's something that upsets his stomach. And he will investigate the lost and found box.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check. Let's see what you find in there.
Perfect. Investigation, 13 total.
You find an item that's kind of fun. Hang on. I'm pulling up random items. Took a moment to sound for a second.
Yes, very plot relevant. Random item.
You find a scroll of Tarask.
Instructions on how to pour a drink.
Apparently, you find a rod that's decorated with colourful scarves and topped with a carving of a madly grinning head.
The merch from these performers is getting wilder and wilder these days. I don't understand it.
I do have to agree with you.
Hey, that's show business, baby.
Destiny, does this look familiar to you whatsoever?
Not at all.
Okay, so not caves merchandise, so not useful for us then.
Nope.
And
She's
just
like,
drop
you
it
know
back
if
into the
it's
box.
caves because it's got the upside down sea that looks like it's black in the middle. Are you looking for that symbol, right? She points to like her badge.
Oh, right, okay.
You should draw that down next to the coffee stain right there.
Thank you.
She's like, it's still wet enough, I can make it like what colour? She's like spreading it out. Oh look, conveniently on the stream. There, caves.
Please don't ruin my journal any further than I've ruined it myself.
You throw the rod of the jester back in the box.
I am having the worst morning. Shall we step outside?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, got to stretch my legs.
Yeah. Roll me a perception check as you step outside and into the town proper.
Amazing.
Redemption!
Is that a
Natural
nat
20!
Nice. Not only that, but you get an inspiration. So feel free to tuck that aside as a DM, can I please bribe you, and roll again kind of point.
Fantastic. Total of 23 with that natural 20.
Nice. Okay. What did the rest of you get? Just out of curiosity. I mean,
I got a 6.
A constable is definitely seeing things, but yes, okay.
Yeah,
Bren is
still
seeing nothing.
Got the music box. Is
Yep.
still like tinkering with it.
Destiny's probably pointing and stuff and offering tips right now. Because it's her vibe too. So she's deep in the box with you. She rolled like crap, so.
18
We're just
for
boxing
Mum.
over here.
Oh, nice. Okay, so, Man, you think you're pretty sure you just saw somebody kind of pulling somebody, and somebody they were pulling was kind of hollering something, and it's a little way away, but you're like, wait, that doesn't look like it was consensual at all. Like, there's some pulling and things going. But our constable, not only can you see that and make it out, but you realize that the person that's being pulled is tied by a rope around their waist, and the person is like hauling them, along with them, and is like, please just come back. And they're like, no, I must go to the water. I have to get the shell. You don't understand. Why are you stopping me? And like they're having like a whole argument as trying to haul them back into town, away from like the ocean.
I think the constable just goes into a full sprint, looking over to Man. Shall we?
I'll snatch the mechanical thing just to get the attention, and I'll start running with it after you. So I've taken your music box.
No.
What? Come, follow. The constable's found something. I'll give it back.
Okay.
Yeah, so they, you all kind of go running after this, and, it doesn't take you long to catch up with these people because they're really having the time, absolutely fighting each other in terms of, where they want to go, so they're not really moving anywhere. Yeah.
Running up to them, full pace, already running out of breath because he's been stuffing himself all morning. Do these look like local troublemakers that are just causing a scene because of they want to? Or is this, oh no, this does look a little bit weird to me?
No, this definitely looks weird. You're seeing, one of the local lovely couples around town. They've got new young toddlers, kids, they're very well known. Everybody likes them. He works at the blacksmith. He's learning his trade, and she works at the local scribe, and she's got pretty good lettering, and people get her to write their letters and stuff, so official documentation and stuff. So they have good jobs, and they're good people, and they're just trying to live their lives, and they're having a full-blown argument in the middle of the street, where she is trying with her entire might to drag this guy away from the ocean with and tears streaming down her face, and just you can see how exhausted she is from the effort that she's putting in. And the guy is like, I don't you just need to let me go. I've just got to go get the shell. I don't know why you're stopping me. I have to do it. I have to give it to them.
The constable is just going to walk on over. Stop, you're violating the law. Public disturbances are a huge no-no within this town. Please calm down, both of you. And specifically is going to go, because one of them's wrapped up, even though one of them isn't making quite sense, he is going to go to the woman and just kind of reach for the rope of, this isn't a good thing you're doing right now.
Yeah.
This doesn't look good.
Yeah, and so Lucy looks at you and it's I can't let him go. He keeps trying to walk into the water, he's just walking into the water. I can't.
I will hold him for now. You need to let go.
And she just hands it to you and collapses, and you see her arms, her hands are shaking and her arms are shaking. And she's like, hold John, please hold John.
I'll wrap the rope around my arm, just in an brace.
Roll a strength check. Athletics.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I wish I put that into proficiencies, but nope. 14.
Is anybody helping you with this, or are they just everybody's just watching this happen?
I'll hand you the music box back and then wrap myself around his legs.
Yeah,
around John's legs?
Yeah.
Right, got it.
It takes a minute to cast, but I could cast Identify on John to see any effects.
I mean,
So if he's still for a minute, Brent's gonna wave his hands, and this kind of
Okay.
bluish, kind of cloudy energy starts to come out. Just so, my eager friend, tell me about this shell.
yeah. So, Sandy, if you want to roll for advantage for Constable Vale as Man is just grabbing around the legs, also trying to help.
Okay, first one was a 14. I will roll again on that. Please be better. Oh no, we're gonna stick with that
That's
14.
Okay.
Honestly, makes sense. Man's not very strong.
Yeah. So what's kind of happening is he is trying desperately to get to that water, like almost in human strength. So you're holding him, but you're like, you could already feel that you're going to get tired soon. You don't even know how Lucy was doing it. And you know that you've got a short period of time here to figure out something while you hold him still. And so as you ask him about the shell, he's like, the shell, it's under the water. It's protected, and it's under the water, and I have to get it, and I have to give it to the roadie.
To the roadie.
I must. I have to. They said.
Do you always do what roadies tell you to do? That seems like a
Not
interesting
the
way to live your life.
The roadie didn't tell me to do it. Caaaaaaaves told me to do it. It was in their song. Didn't you hear it?
He's just gonna say, good news, Destiny. Caves are still making people do stuff.
She's like, oh, that's not good news.
Let me rephrase. Bad news. Caves are still making people do stuff.
Can we please move on from it being good or bad news and figure out what's happening?
Has it been a minute since he's been held there?
Not quite, maybe. It's probably you're going to probably be able to hold him for a minute, with that 14 before you get too tired to keep holding. Lucy is on the ground going, John, think of the children. What are you doing?
Well, somebody please think of the children.
And Destiny's like, oh, no, this is bad. Because usually they don't snap out of it until they do the thing that they've been told to do, even if it's, and she hesitates on that, and Lucy goes, even if it's what? And she's like, even if it kills them?
What if they're knocked unconscious?
I mean, it might work.
If this individual is being held still, can I try and punt them so I knock them unconscious then?
Yep, with advantage, because they're being held right now.
Oh no.
I'll give you guidance.
The constable turns the body cam off. Okay, since we're talking about the effect,
I'm so sorry, Brad.
Brad, edit that back in. I'm also going to stop.
Amazing.
I'm going to stop casting Identify because Destiny seems to know kind of what this is.
100%.
So that I'm going to keep the spell slot. I'm also going to prepare grease between him and the water.
Okay, fun.
In case he breaks through, I'll hold my action to let that bad boy go.
With that that advantage, I rolled another natural 20
Nice.
for a total of 25.
Yeah, nice. You just conk this guy in the head just the right way. What does it look like as you conk this guy out and he falls unconscious?
Just the constable grabs his standard issue short sword, grabs it from his belt, and it looks really bad from the first angle of this because he's just raising his sword, but he just goes with the hilt of it on the side of his temple, punk, and lets him drop to the ground.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and he does. He drops, and you let go of the rope around his waist. Lucy just sort of grabs him and puts his head in her lap. And she's like, what's wrong with him? And right as she says that, ding! Identify goes off.
Okay.
So, what does the spell give you?
Using the paragraph, if you instead touch a creature through the casting, you learn which ongoing spells, if any, are currently affecting it. And then it's got the DM's discretion if you want it to be like an innate ability and you tell me what that is. But by the law of the land, you don't need to.
It's kind of more like a compulsion curse. Like these guys have been seemingly cursed through some kind of magic. It's not really like a spell that you can just counter. Whatever the curse's condition is needs to be fulfilled usually in order to break it. Like that's usually how curse kind of works. So clearly in order to break this one, somebody has to give the roadie the shell.
Well, madam, it appears your husband is cursed.
She's like, that's not good.
No, no, this is definitely bad news. See, I know that one.
She looks at Man, and she's like, Man, like, you know everything. But what is this?
Lucy, I know it's hard to believe, but this girl, I point to Destiny, came to us this morning with knowledge that the band Caaaaaaaves impacts their listeners. Did you go to see them last night?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so apparently they've got messages in their music, which...
I did have to leave because, the kids, couldn't... I swapped, and we all looked after each other's kids so that we could all kind of listen to a bit of it.
Did your husband stay right to the end?
Yeah, only one of us needed to be home. Right.
It must be near the final act for the band.
And then why specifically your husband and not the entire crowd? You'd think the more people going after a shell, the more likely you'd have to get the shell.
She looks down at him, and she looks up at you all, and she's big tears, big wide eyes. He always was a bit of a dreamer. And her lips, quivering.
Or is he particularly aquatic?
What type of dreams did he have?
No, just big ones. Just, he was open to opportunity in the world. He wanted us to have the best,
Maybe they target the people with dreams.
I'm a little more practical. I just want a roof over my head and food in my belly and a place to sleep,
Much more sensible than throwing yourself into the ocean for a shell. What would my character know about curses?
Yeah, you can roll an Arcana check to see what you know about curses if you know much about them or...
It's an 8.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard of curses before, sure, but you probably don't know much more than what you already know, which is usually you have to fulfill it to break it in some kind of way. And usually the curse is kind of somewhere, but you don't know where that would be, because they're saying it. So did you have to listen to it?
Your husband, was he one of those individuals that like to stand at the front of the crowd? Do you think he perhaps heard the lyrics better than anyone else, or was he just... Where did you last see him in the crowd?
No, just the middle. No, he didn't want to be right at the front. That's where all the hardcore fans were, and we haven't ever heard them play before, so, seemed a bit rude to be at the front.
Did they have any symbols, arcane symbols, to help project their music? I mean, I know the bowl is not a large venue, but...
Oh, I mean, of course, they have the runes on the rocks that make the music louder. That's pretty common, though, for the big bands. Otherwise, you'd struggle to hear them, right?
Did you recognize if there was any changes in those runes?
Nothing out of the ordinary. He keeps talking about a shell, but I didn't see any shell there.
Just kneeling down towards the husband, the shell that he's kind of collected, is there any specific design on it, or was he going to collect the shell?
Yeah, so he hasn't got a shell in his hands or anything, but he wanted to go get a shell. And she told you she stopped him from just walking into the water from...
Just a drowning risk.
Yeah. Well, I think you should take him home and tie him into a room.
Perhaps restrain him in some way.
Yeah. And by this point, you've gathered a bit of a crowd, so she looks up and around, and she's like, yeah, I think I can get people to help me. Please, will you do something, Mon?
What's that, Lucy, dear?
Will you fix him? Figure this out.
We'll do our best. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before, but you know me, all the tales that I've heard over the years from different travellers and stories and...
Yeah, she's looking around at the others, and she's like, well, yeah, I mean, no offense, I don't know you, she says when she points to Destiny. You tend to break more things than you fix. Pointing at Bryn.
That could be either of us.
Hang on.
Pointing at Bryn, and she's like, and, well, I mean, no offense, Constable, but I know where my husband is. It's not like he's missing.
No, but people are missing. Do we think that they are in the sea?
That is where I want to check next.
That is an option.
Honestly.
Man's going to reach into her bag and pull out a string of salt rocks and give it to Lucy and sort of clasp it in and say, you know what I think about these. They protect, they help. Salt is good to cleanse everything. You give this to him when you tie him up, and Yeah, as a talisman.
She
Protection.
nods, and you know she's never taken one of these before. She's a very, 2 foot on the ground, I'll believe in the earth underneath me, thank you, kind of person. But this time she damn near just snatches it from your hand. Anything for my John.
We will do our best for the both of you and the family. But you look after him.
Count on me, madam.
She looks
I'll
over
solve this
you.
curse.
I look at her and go, he's got a heart.
Bryn's elven ears kind of wiggle in excitement. It's like, this is a good mystery and I love it.
Yeah, the last thing you hear Lucy say to Man is it in the box?
we might be able to put it in there. You never know.
One of these days it'll work.
So as you head off down to the water, you can kind of see Lucy grabbing, various townsfolk to put him in a wagon and wheel him home.
Tie him to the wagon.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's couldn't drink as well.
At the mention of the salt rocks, I think Eric just scoffs a little bit, just never works, as he just straightens himself out. Shall we head towards the beach then?
Yes, but Constable, you should take some of these rocks too. I know you don't believe in this sort of thing, but I know that they help, they protect. I've made them myself.
I wouldn't want to deprive you of your precious salt.
Oh no, I have
I'll be
plenty. I
fine
shake
then.
my bag and there's a jangle of rocks.
Then the mere proximity will be fine. And he's trying to stay away from that.
I'll get you one of these days, boy.
Not today.
You walk towards the beach, and you do notice a surprising amount of footprints on the beach today. Instead of walking along it like most people kind of do when they're having a lovely morning walk next to the ocean, there's a lot of footprints that just sort of walk from where you are on the main path to the beach and just into the water. And they don't seem to be footprints coming back out again.
Of the people
One
in the
set of
water.
footprints in the sand.
Yeah.
Stop.
I need to sketch this in my journal.
Inspirational quote.
Now there's sand stuck to the tea stain.
Why is it? It's sticky. It's sandy. It just gets worse.
It's getting more and more illegible.
I'm putting this away.
You get near the water and you think, that the beach here sort of drops off fairly quickly. It's, not far from a big old trench by the ocean here. So, you've always known that to be careful. It's a little bit of kind of a sandy, nice area for toddlers to play in and things like that. And then it kind of drops away quite quickly after that. And even though it's a large drop, you think you can kind of see, it's very clear water here, and you think you can kind of see things moving in the water down there.
Like fishes or like peoples?
How long would it take to undoff my armor? I'm currently wearing a set of chainmail. How long would it take for me to kind of take that off just so I can wade through?
Yeah. I'm not going to stand here and make you wait for ages to do that. You can kind of pull it off your head and sort of throw it on there.
I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah.
I just got to unhook.
Sorry, everyone. This never happens.
Yeah, you're able you do this daily, multiple times a day. So, because sometimes you have to be in official gear and sometimes you have to be in battle gear. So, you're very practiced.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly undoff the chainmail and just kind of put the shield and the sword to the side. I'll take a closer look unless any of you lot want to step into the water.
I could go up to maybe knee deep.
It's always good to take a close look.
Leaving my stuff on the sand and just watching as everyone else jumps in, I'll wade in just to have a better look as well.
Mm-hmm. So you wade in and you realize you're going to have to kind of stick your head under the water to sort of see, because it's all kind of, it's a bit wavy on the top. So as you stick your head under the water and you look through the blue and you kind of adjust to the levels of light down here, you realize that you see a whole lot of humanoids walking on the sand at the very bottom of this trench. And they all see you in unison as you stick your head underneath the water, and they begin to sing. And I guess we'll have to find out next episode what happened.
Oh no, it's a dance troupe. We found the Backstreet Boys.
Truly terrifying.
In sync, but sync is for falling under the water.
Yes, these rotted, I should have said, humanoid forms turn their heads towards you and begin to sing.
Maybe not the Backstreet Boys.
Thriller.
A little bit. It's a little bit Thriller
MJ?
under there. It's a little bit Thriller vibes. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us on our crazy side adventure today. Without
And
the
that's
side
the end
bars.
of the episode.
Oh yes, thank you, Erika.
You're welcome.
We do.
We need that catharsis.
It's like I don't know what I'm doing when it's a side episode, like a little side quest that we're doing. I don't know how to do
Just
it.
a little
Okay.
birdie.
Yeah.
Listen, we say in unison, and that's the end of the episode.
of the
And then try to
episode.
get it as synced up.
Yeah.
Synced up as we can
Instead
for
we
the people at home.
dance.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, should we
just dab it?
try it one more time for our podcast, our fans out there? Let's try this through. 3, 2, 1. And
that's
that
the
end
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 of the episode.
wow.
episode.
Oh.
Wow, guys. Yeah, that was
Smash
great.
me up here.
So
I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it right now. It's just a little higher, a little higher.
Up here.
Can we change the key? It's not in my vocal range.
I regret trying. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on our adventure today. We hope to see you again. If you are listening to this podcast on the podcast app of your choice, maybe come along to the live stream to catch the in-person action directly as it happens. We stream every second Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. NZDT, and we would love to see you there. Many amazing people are involved with the production of this podcast, and I'm incredibly grateful for their hard work and dedication every single episode. So I want to give a big shout out to my partner in crime, Brad Zimmerman. I can see in the chat there, who told us that was the worst exit ever, and he also quantified that with chef's kiss. So I don't know if the worst one ever is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm still trying to figure that out. But
It was bad in a good way, like the room.
Yeah. Sharknado.
Brad is also
It was a
the
Sharknado.
editor of the polished episodes that you hear, responsible for the design of World of Isen in Book 1, which I am busy ruining in Book 2. Thanks to Amy Ward Art, our glitteriest and most beautiful moderator, keeping our whole streams chat our live streams chat a wholesome place to be.
A whole grain chat, a full
Okay.
sourdough.
And also is a little sick herself, so is still in there doing the mahi. And we love you, Amy. Thank you so much for being here. Samsara for setting up the amazing OBS, which I keep ruining. I'm so sorry, Samsara. I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's quite obvious that that's true. Thank you to Haunted Sandwich for the character art they designed for our sidebars, and Aiden Music Photography for capturing our players in real life, and a wee little shout out there for Amy Ward Art for some of the art that she has created for characters across the years. We are proud members of Kiwi RPG, and we encourage you to visit their website to find other Kiwi creators that you absolutely need to know about. And of course, this podcast would not be able to keep going. Who knows what I've done again?
Alright, I stretch out my dancing arms again.
Yeah.
Get ready for this.
Would not be able to keep going without.
The lights on in Isen HQ.
Thank you. That's exactly what it's supposed to say.
Now do the rest from memory.
Look directly in the camera.
Yeah.
Alex White Robinson, the rest of them.
That's very good. That's very good.
And then
That is
Sarah
very
Christine Goodwin.
Yep. I do like that you guys are actually pretty much nailing this. Alex White, Robinson, Irene Cucci, Laura Christine Goodwin, Sam Malcolm, Kay,
Malcolm,
Victoria and Gavin Porter, Daniel
and Gavin
Nichols.
Porter.
Yeah. Squish. Malcolm Crowe is dead for most of the Sixth Sense. Alexandra Legat. This is very hard because it sounds like an echo in my ear.
Hit me with that Andrew Evans.
And, it is Andrew Evans. Chaos the Fox, Ezekiel Tivarelli, Christian H. Disturbed One N says the real life When of the Forgotten says, remember the Forgotten. Well, he said meow, but we all know what he means. Lyndon Hood, Tom Ailey, hashtag Paul Smells.
Joke time.
What do you call a married hippo? Erika Jayne, Aaron Gilgren, Danielle the Tea Lady, Lady of the Tea. Today's brew is blood orange, full-bodied, warming, and satisfying. Liz from Time to Die, a D&D podcast. And then we have Paul Chalk, hashtag Thomas Cool, a hippopotamuses. A hippopotamuses. Dear God, a hippopotamuses. And Maya. And also, apologies. Ezekiel is coming to New Zealand. Let's get together and eat some pies is the official Patreon name. And in fact, Ezekiel is actually in New Zealand currently. And I do think that if you want to reach out to one of our fans who has been around since he was living overseas in Argentina, I don't think that's wrong. Maybe it's wrong. And has now immigrated to New Zealand, which is a big, huge thing. You should reach out and try and get a pie because they're awesome. So, yeah.
Potato top or nothing.
Yeah, totally. And YouTube can be a fatey and tell jokes and have little shout outs for as little as $2 a month. Join the exclusive Discord and hang out. Yes, Argentina, thank you. I did get it right. My brain is mush and I'm proud of myself for facts I get right. Okay. Before I wanted to go, before I go, I wanted to wow. Just wow, guys. I wanted to remind you that if you have a hankering for more dice in your life, head on over to our partners, fanrolldice.com, and use the promo code FATEOFISEN, where you can get 10% off your entire order, a sweet little dice discount on us. And last but very much not least, a huge, huge thank you to my players for tonight. I'm going to pass it over to them to tell you about where you can find them on socials and cool things that they do. Sandy, just feel like, throw anything in there that you want to share. Take it away, players.
Kia ora.
Let's go in reverse order. This is
my
fun.
turn.
Ezekiel, jump in here. What are your
Ezekiel, jump in here.
Hi, I am Sandy. I am nowhere but here, so that is me. Thank you so much for having me, and this has been such a fun time.
Wait, the word on the street is you've got like a TikTok that you could perhaps plug here.
Quick, Amy.
TikTok I have not used in quite some time. I believe Le Sheep is the handle for that. If I have sent you elsewhere, I do apologize.
Enjoy the sheep content.
Perfect. Next, I'm intrigued as to who it's going to be.
Honestly, if it's reverse order, I don't move, so...
Yeah, there we go.
That's just as easy. Hi, I'm Erika. I was Marin today. I normally play Taran on the OG end, so it rhymes. It's great. It's fun. I'm on Instagram as Erika Jayne, and the TikTok that I also don't use at all, I've posted one thing, is Starry-Eyed Happy, but I really should get back into that. So, over to you, Severin.
Howdy. I'm Severin. I was playing Dexter, and I'm playing Brad, and then eventually Dexter again. I'm at Severin Comedy Person on Facebook, where it's a running theme. I do not post as much as I should. I also have a TikTok at Severin Piano, and again, a running theme. I don't post as much as I should. But I do have some videos of me playing like piano pieces up there, which would be really cool if you go give it a view, give it like a heart or a thumbs up or whatever. Give it a talk, whatever they do on that side. Julz, over to you.
They tick the talks, right?
Yeah, that you just tick that talk right there.
It should have a tick symbol on it. Why did they miss that trick? Anyway, so yes, hey everybody, I have been your absolutely chaotic DM who is still incredibly exhausted from a amazing Auckland Armageddon. Thanks to everybody who came along to the BD&D stand to say hi and stuff, and I'm so sorry for those of you who did come and didn't get to talk to me. Steffi, did you come back? I'm so upset that I missed you. But it was a really, really good time. Armageddon, man. If you're in Auckland again in October, apparently I'm being booked because I was Chaos Infinite, and it was a good time apparently. So yeah, and big shout out to Questbook there as well, who had me run a game while I was up there. Met all the Questbook DMs up there, and it was a really, really fun time running for some people in Auckland as well while I was there. So yay.
Thanks.
Yay. And you can find me everywhere, Julz from NZ. There's actually some pretty cool pictures of some of the cosplays that I saw up in Armageddon on the Instagram at the moment. So, yeah, really, really incredible Baldur's Gate outfits out there. Yeah, some people put in some serious effort. Oren, just mwah, chef's kiss. Yeah.
Real blood as well.
Yeah, so good. So good. But yes. Inohora, everybody. This poor, tired Julz is going to take herself to bed. So, ka kite ano, aroha nui. Goodbye. We will see you again soon. And loads of love. Mwah.
Big aroha.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Kino
See you
aroha.
back for part 2 next time. Bye.
Ka kite. We'll roll initiative. It'll be great.